Hi, good evening. Welcome along to the transfer show. Now, coming up over the next hour, Chelsea double down on their Enzo Fernández deadline. But will it be enough to draw out Manchester City? Well, there's also news on Arsenal's search for a centre-back, and we'll look at what the future holds for Jack Grealish. James Savundra and Vinny O'Connor will take us through it all. But let's start with Enzo Fernández, James. We've got a deadline day before deadline day. Where are we with this one?
Yeah, so Mike, it emerged yesterday evening that Chelsea had set a deadline of 5 p.m. on Friday, 5 p.m. tomorrow, less than 24 hours to go for clubs interested in signing Enzo Fernández to put in a bid of £120 million. That is Chelsea's valuation for the Argentinian World Cup winner. So far, we understand there have been no bids, and that's contrary to reports in Argentina that City have indeed lodged a bid of £120 million. That's not our understanding. Chelsea yet to receive any suitable offers. In fact, they've yet to receive any offers in this transfer window at all. We know Real Madrid put out a statement last month saying they weren't going to entertain an offer for Enzo Fernández in this transfer window. We know City are interested in trying to sign him. But as far as Chelsea are concerned, they've doubled down on this today. Sources at the club telling us this is a fixed deadline of 5 p.m. on Friday. If clubs don't come up with the money by then, this saga is over. He won't believe in the club this summer. He won't be leaving in January. The earliest opportunity any club has to sign Enzo Fernández is next summer. And they're in a really good position because he's got 6 years left in his contract. They bought him for £107 million, which is why they have placed this massive valuation of £120 million. Manchester City or any interested club have less than 24 hours to try to sign Enzo Fernández this summer.
Vinny, what do you make of the way Chelsea are playing this?
It's different, Mike. I think it's a different way of trying to maximise their chances of getting exactly what they want in terms of a financial package. We're not used to seeing teams behave in this manner in terms of setting a deadline and saying, if it doesn't happen by then nothing is going to happen in this window. I think one time I can kind of liken it to, and it's a little bit different, this was Liverpool back in 2017 with Coutinho. And there it was Barcelona who set them a deadline. Liverpool rejected an offer on the Friday of £180 million. And Barcelona said, if you don't agree to this by the Sunday, then all the deal's off the table and we'll withdraw the offer. Well, Liverpool then just laughed that off because they've already rejected that offer, but then ended up getting £142 million for Coutinho the following January.
Yeah. James, does this only work if City come up with the money by tea time tomorrow?
I think so. I think Chelsea really are being very firm on this situation because as far as they're concerned, it's a new era at Chelsea Football Club. This ownership group have learnt plenty over the course of the last 4 seasons. There has been some success. They won the Club World Cup. They qualified for the Champions League, but clearly there have been mistakes made. But now they've got a new manager, a world-class manager at the helm, and they don't want any distractions. Last season was a disaster. Enzo Maresca walking out halfway through the campaign. Enzo Fernández talking about wanting to move to Madrid. They can't have this once again. They finished 10th last season in the Premier League. That will not be tolerated in this campaign. And what won't be tolerated are question marks around Enzo Fernández in every single press conference. And there'll be plenty that Xabi Alonso has to do over the course of the next few weeks. So this is why it makes sense for Chelsea now. There's a week to go until the start of the Premier League season. It's now or never. If it doesn't happen now, he is a very important first-team player at Chelsea, and he'll be treated accordingly if no club stumps up that money by tomorrow at 5.
Vinny, it feels like a lot of this depends on what happens to Rodri, and there was a development today. Tell us.
There was, yeah. It's the fact that Barcelona have gone back in with an improved offer. The first offer was seen as derisory. That was around about £40 million. They've come back with £55 million. I think probably an indication of just how keen they are to get Rodri in this transfer window as well. But again, it's been rejected by Manchester City. Look, it's somewhat £5 to £10 million off the valuation that Manchester City have put on Rodri. At the same time, the way things are going, it does have a feeling of inevitability, and it's one of those deals where you can see that domino effect and then obviously perhaps triggers the Enzo Fernández situation even more so, or even Enzo Fernández situation then triggers the Rodri situation as well. So it's a bit to run in this, but obviously we're still looking forward to that 5 p.m. deadline of tomorrow night as well. As
we are indeed. So as you said, 10 million more might do it. If that does it, does that just make it a bit easier for City to pay this vast sum for Fernandes? Because it just makes the books look a bit more comfortable.
Potentially, yeah, it does. And don't forget, they've already spent big with Elliot Anderson coming in during this transfer window as well. And they're looking to bring in Boadi as well from Lille. And that's a big deal. That would be around about £85 million. And for an 18-year-old, albeit he's got all the talent in the world, it looks like. I remember Carlo Ancelotti's reaction after Morocco played Brazil in the World Cup, and he was staggered that his midfield had been bossed the way it was by the performance of an 18-year-old in that Moroccan side as well. I think he was similarly staggered when he made his debut for Lille against Real Madrid in the Champions League as well, when you consider the calibre of player and the experienced players that he was up against as well. So, yes, it does look better on the books, but we still understand that City are looking to spend pretty big still in this window as well.
Exactly, which means they've got to offload. Tijani Reinders looks like he's heading to the exit door. James, what's the latest on him, possibly? James, you've got some breaking news for us.
We mentioned this at the top of the show. Tijani Reinders looks set to end his time at Manchester City after one season, and City have agreed to sell Tijani Reinders to Al Qadsiya. We've been reporting the fee is around £51 million. They're recouping more than they paid from him from AC Milan last year. Interestingly, the player wants the move. We've not been reporting that until today. He wants the move. The next stages are set to proceed. So City buying him for around £40 million last summer from AC Milan. They're set to make a big profit, £51.3 million. He's set to go to the Saudi Pro League after one season at the Etihad.
Does that make Enzo Fernández going to the Etihad more likely?
It means that City have made another major sale. It means they're bringing in over £100 million in sales in this transfer window when you account for James Trafford departing and some smaller sales, the likes of Nathan Ake going out to Turkey. It means they're in a better position when it comes to negotiating in terms of what money they've got left to spend in this transfer window. If they do get big money for Rodri, if they do get good money for Tijani Reinders, you match up 70 million plus 50 million. That gets you to 120 million, which is what Chelsea want for Enzo Fernández. And we have an outgoing at Chelsea. We'll report in the next few minutes, and it isn't Enzo Fernández.
Tease, I like that. Breaking news. James, what have you got?
Benoît Badiashile, the Chelsea defender, is set to join Napoli this season. Napoli have agreed a deal with Chelsea to sign him on an initial loan. Now, we understand there's a loan fee of £2.5 million. It could rise to £3.4 million with add-ons. And crucially, Napoli have the option to buy Badiashile next summer for around £23 million. We've been reporting that Chelsea's valuation of the defender was £30 million in this transfer window. Well, if that loan fee, if they get the full loan fee and they also get that option price, that'll take it to £26 million. He's still got 4 years left on his Chelsea contract. We know that prior to this deal, Chelsea had 9 centre-backs. Xabi Alonso told us he only wants 4 or 5. Badiashile been allowed to depart in this transfer window. He looks set to join Napoli on an initial loan. The Italian club will have the option to buy him for around £23 million next summer.
You wouldn't want to be a Chelsea centre-back. You're going to be an endangered species, aren't you? Right, let's